Greetings, it's Adam with Errata non grata, and it's time for some more Atari 7800 homebrew action. This is Destroyer by S.D. Williams, who on Atari Age said that this was his first game and he's working on some others. Now, this is not exactly an original creation. It's based upon an Atari arcade game from the late 70s called Destroyer as well, but there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think it's great that there's a little bit of attention being given to some of the Atari arcade games from that era that otherwise have been kind of ignored. And I mean, there's a few from that time, such as, I know this will cause some to probably bristle, but saying Outlaw, that a lot of people don't know that Outlaw was an arcade game first, and it was entirely different from the Atari 2600 version that most people are familiar with. It was a light gun game. But you also had Superbug, Orbit, Subs, which was another Sea Battle game, but really cool, the first multi-monitor game. Pull Shark, and quite a few of those that just never got ported to consoles. Avalanche, that would be worth seeing how they could perform on a decent Atari console like the 7800. And so, as you've probably been able to tell just by watching that was my very first try at this game. You control the Destroyer there on the top, and you just have all these subs, quite a few subs, and so quite the World War that's going on. Maybe it was World War III. But you just have to bomb them with your depth charges. Now, Sega also did release a game that was somewhat similar called Sub Hunt, to arcades, and that was also on the Atari 2600, and it was somewhat similar. The main difference was that your Destroyer didn't keep going back and forth across the screen. It just you had it in the center of the screen. You can move it left to right using the joystick controller. This one you can control, aside from the line there using the up and down on your joystick, you can control the speed of the boat. On this particular play, I was just seeing what happens if you held it down, and that just switches between fast and slow constantly. Otherwise, you just push button 1 once, and that'll either set it to fast or it'll set it to the slower pace. And as I discovered on the next play after this one, it seems like slower is better, usually. But I guess you just kind of have to judge based upon when the subs are popping up. It seems somewhat random, but I didn't read all the full details on the Atari Age thread about this. But overall, fun little game if you're into arcade style action. Not sure how far off this is from the final version, but what's here is fully playable and fun. I like the explosion animations. It is better than just like a 2-frame thing. It's got a few frames in there, and yeah. So what top score can you get on my last play here? That has the best I did, but I did not get close to the 2500 that you need to get to for extended play. And if you're curious as to why that was, well, that was because the Atari arcade games in that era would generally be all timed, and so if you wanted to earn more time, you had to reach a certain score to extend it. And so he's just keeping that part there. But what do you think of this one if you've played it? And curious to hear. See you around.